What's up guys? Today I'm going to be talking about some of the fundamental moves in the game, but we're doing it in a different way this time. I've taught all these moves before on my channel, so today we're going to go into a lot more detail on when you would actually use these moves. Hopefully whether you're a beginner or advanced player, you might learn something new. Let's hop into it. The first move we're going to talk about is the sway retake. Basically how it works is you have a ramp above you and below you, and you swing walls in the direction that you're trying to block. So if the enemy's off to your right, you would swing it that way, and if they're off to the left, you swing it that way, but it fully protects your back as well. Another good thing with this move is you can edit out the sides so you can change directions, or you can flip this ramp. So slower, that looks like this. You grab the ramp, jump, and flip it, and then swing the walls into place. So this move is just really good because you can go any direction and is very protective. But when do you actually use this move? There's a few different scenarios. Obviously, it could be used at any point in a build fight. So if the enemy gets above you or something and they're off to your right, you could swing it up like that and then do whatever you gotta do after that, like jump through like this to face them and edit course to them. Or if they're off to the left, you would just block the left side and then, you know, who knows what you're gonna do after that. But it's really just a way to transition your build fights. They're off to the right, you quickly flip it and boom, you're facing them. They're behind you, you could even flip it like that. Another really good time to do this is when you're based up and you wanna start a build fight. Let's say they're a couple layers up from you, maybe they're spraying you. You can just start it out by editing out the side, placing the ramps and then the wall, and then maybe you flip up towards them and maybe they were right here and you piece them up. Or it can just be a way to start that build fight. You leave your box and then maybe you like turn and face them. And now you guys are build fighting instead of box fighting. The place that I find myself using this move more often than not is in endgame actually. This move can be really useful for when you're tunneling. So let's say you're on this layer and you want to switch and go up a layer. You just go like this. It's the same exact move, you just use it to get up a layer. You see, you're tarping and then boom, and maybe you need to turn to the side. You can even make it a full tarp by swinging all the walls into place and it just kind of completes your tunnel. I also use this move a lot when I'm just rotating an endgame and I just need to quickly get up a layer safely. Like maybe I'm sprinting and I'm going by somebody's box and I want to protect my left side really fast. If you guys need a place to practice this move, this is a really good drill in my Jivan's practice map. You go building tutorials, sway retake, and as you can see, it kind of scripts it for you. So right here, you're supposed to be blocking your left side. And then the arrows are here telling you to switch directions. The next building technique we're going to talk about is tunneling. And I'm going to show you some in-game examples of when you should actually be tunneling and when you shouldn't be. If you're brand new to tunneling, basically what it is you're just building a tunnel with your builds. So you just slightly move your mouse up and down to place these floors, and then you can look off to your sides real quick. You can change directions by building the front and left or front and right. And you can do a diagonal tarp. You know, you're not going to be full tunneling in endgame. You're not going to be every single zone going like this. When should you actually be tunneling? To answer this question, let's look at some solo cash cup footage from last week. In the early moving zones, you're almost never going to be tunneling. You're just going to use your movement item and then typically just base up in a single box or a 1x2. But when doing these rotates with the bat in these early moving zones, you're typically just blocking off angles and making sure that you're safe on your rotate. The main time you are going to tunnel is once you get to the later parts of the game, like the second to last and last moving zones. If you have a lot of mats at this point, you're typically going to be tunneling, because at that point it's like, why not use those materials to make sure that you're safe for the rest of the end game? If you don't have a lot of mats, you might still end up doing these sprint rotates, or you'll use the mats you have to fight somebody nearby you. If you're playing a team-based game mode, you're going to be tunneling more often, and the reason is because you have 2 sets of materials rather than 1, or even 3 sets of materials if you're playing trios. Another time you might find yourself tunneling is if one of your teammates is really weak and you need to make space for him to heal. Like you're on the back edge of zone and you're not ready to rotate yet because he's super weak. Tunnel for like 5 or 6 boxes if you have enough materials, and that'll give your teammates some time to heal, and then you can rotate once you're healthy using bats or whatever movement items in the game. If you guys are trying to get better at tunneling, I even have a building tutorial called reactive tunneling here. Basically what you're trying to do is you're trying to stay in the circle at all points in time, and this arrow will tell you when you should change directions. So this can be good practice if you're brand new to tunneling, just trying to stay in this zone. But if you fall out of the tunnel, then you lose and you get teleported back to the front. For the next part of the video, I want to talk about Clix Jumps. I'm going to go in here and go to the Clix Jumps section. The way this move works is you extend ramps like this, you jump to the side and build the floor and ramp, and you jump again and build another floor and ramp, and then you start it all over again. and you want to try to incorporate sprinting into this move. So let's say you're ramp rushing in the mid game, but you notice that the opponent has a bit of a head start on you, like they're going to beat you to the high ground. This is a time where you would just whip out this move and it gets you up an extra layer really, really quickly. So you're just sprint ramp rushing towards the enemy, but you notice they have the advantage, so you do this real quick. And then you might actually be able to like edit down and piece control them. The next move we're going to talk about is side jumps, one of the most important moves in the game. I literally do side jumps when I'm going for high ground and end game, when I'm in a mid game fight, all the time. So this is something you need to get down. The first simple type of side jump is jumping around like this and placing a wall, and then maybe you can place a cone over the enemy and piece control them. This is when they're one layer above you. But a majority of the time, I'm not doing that move, bro. What I'm doing instead is I'm sprinting and placing the high wall here. And from here, you might get them there, or if they were down here, then you'll still be able to piece control them, but you have that extra piece up top. The way it works is you literally just sprint, jump, look straight up and place those ramps, and look down as fast as possible to place this floor. Try not to place it too early or you're gonna get this floor above you. If that floor does get above you, you know it's no big deal, you just edit it and then you can continue. Something that I do a lot is I'll do this sprint jump, and then maybe I notice that they're going off to the side a little bit. So then I jump to the side like this and I piece control. So what it looks like in full speed is that right there. You can even try to swing like extra walls in the direction that they are, like swing all these or swinging it back like that. But getting this high wall side jump down is super important for height takes and mid game fights because it can give you so many opportunities to cone the enemy. A lot of times I'll just simply cone and then boom, I get over top of them. That's probably the biggest way that I use this move when going for high ground. I do the high wall, I place the cone over the enemy, and then I jump out the side and claim that high ground. If you're brand new to side jumps, start with easier ones. For example, I have a side jump drill in here, reactive side jumps. And basically what you can practice in here is just run up here. You just sprint to the side, jump, place a cone, and boom. So I'm going, and then boom, high wall, double edit down, shot. So that's a good drill if you're brand new to side jumps. You can practice all different kinds of them. Like for example, you could just do a simple easy side jump or the high wall. The last build move I want to teach you is actually a really easy one, but it's so slept on. People don't talk about it enough. I simply call it the front side high wall, but let's say you're in a build fight, you're ramp rushing towards the enemy, but they get this ramp right here on you. What I do in this situation is I swing high walls into place, and from here, I could place a cone over them, piece control out the side, do whatever, but just placing that quick front high wall and jumping on this ramp is so good because you can just be sprinting in the build fight and then whip it out in like half a second. So just practice this in creative, just swinging that high wall into place, and then you can practice piece controlling like that too. That's a very common situation where I use this. I piece control right there. So that's it for this video. If you guys want me to do another one like this where I teach you even more moves, let me know down in the comments. And if you want to try out this practice map, there is lots of useful stuff. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.